Good afternoon, everyone. It is Ashley Fields with Yard Art RS, and today is part 2 of the How to Paint Our Train blank. Yesterday we did the engine, today we're doing the pumpkin car, and tomorrow we will be doing the Boo Caboose. So let me get this pulled up and shared. Share to group. Get it shared everywhere I need to get it shared. And then we will hop on in. If you are looking for this template is not ours. The first 2 train cars are a template that I got from Ashley Del Rosario at Bless Your Art. So if you're looking for that, you can find the template on Etsy. The 3rd train car, I made that template myself. So good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Dorothy. Or I'm saying morning. Good afternoon. I don't know. I'm off on my timing today. So I'm just gonna get some Windex on this just because I painted it a couple days ago. And if I'm gonna start painting over top of that, more than half the time, that paint starts to separate. I don't know if it's just dust, impurities, whatever happens. So just kind of got some Windex that off. Hi Pat, good afternoon, how are you doing? I'm gonna grab a paper towel because some of my brushes I just washed. And let me get one of my brushes ready and we're gonna hop on in. All right, y'all, I'm gonna be using I wanna say this is a number 10. Can't even read it. A number 10 flat tip brush. This is a Royal Soft Grit brush. So I refer to it as a shader, though it is flat tip. All right, so on my yellow, I'm gonna grab my shading yellow. It is a little bit separated, so I always do kind of get it mixed back up. For whatever reason, it always separates. Almost all of my paints separate with the exception of black. That's about the only one that stays together. Hey Paula, how are you, honey? So glad that you're here. I just got done. I was outside kind of painting backs and putting poly on a bunch of pieces. Hopefully I'm going to get taken to the store pretty soon because I've got, I don't know, I would say probably 50 pieces here at my house that are finished and just in the way. Finished pieces, that is. So I've been trying to do the poly and back painting and all that fun stuff. And of course, right when I'm doing all of that, you hear the thunder rolling in the background and I'm like, come on, just work with me just a little bit. Though I don't mind the rain, simply because my grass needs it. So for now, I'm just kind of taking a little bit of that shading yellow. I just loaded on the tip of my brush. And I simply put that loaded side down right up against the line and I just kind of follow around that line. Nothing too crazy, nothing too difficult. If I see that my line maybe isn't as thick as I want it to be, I just simply go right back over top of it. Hi Tammy. Tammy says, do you guys paint the backs? Yes ma'am, Tammy, we sure do. That's in fact what I was outside working on right before I hit the live button. So Tammy, what we do is we just simply buy like oops paint. So when you're at Home Depot or Lowe's or any of that kind of thing, and they have those discounted paint gallons that were, you know, mixed incorrectly. They had the wrong color. And so sometimes you can find them for like 10 bucks. In fact, like even I went to Home Depot one day last year and they had some 5 gallons for $50 and then they were even marked down another, I don't even know. I ended up paying $35 for 5 gallons of oops paint. Now it was Pepto Pink, but hey, I don't care. Whatever, as long as it's exterior house paint, you can put that on the back. You're always gonna wanna seal the back because think about it, the paint that we use on the front is exterior paint, right? So you're getting the front and your sides sealed because, you know, we do paint the sides. So you don't want to leave that back unfinished. Just throw a coat of paint on there. Color absolutely does not matter. Just needs to be exterior paint. And in my case, we do typically stick with exterior semi-gloss paint as well. So great question, Tammy. Thank you for that. Hi, Holly. Holly says, constant rain in Ohio. Ay, I'm so sorry, friend. The only thing about the rain that kind of drives me nuts is it makes it a little bit harder to paint and produce yard art. You know, because I need that sunshine. Y'all, I do a lot of this work outside. I'm going to use my yellow spoon, but typically I'd grab a new one. But you know, it takes a lot of work to do outside. For instance, like polying and back painting and things like that, I need space. And so I always do that outdoors. And the good thing is living close to Houston, you know, South Texas over here, our temperatures right now are about 100 degrees. So I have easels outside, and as I travel from one easel to the next easel painting backs, because I think I've got 6 or 7 that are literally fully loaded, plus all around the outside of my garage is a ton of finished stuff that needs to get stained. But basically, when I go from one easel to the next, the poly will already be dry. So by the time I get done doing the poly on, let's see, I don't know, I probably did about 20, 25 pieces earlier. I can literally go right back around to the first one I polyed and start doing back paint. Now, that's not the case unless it's completely dry. But for us, it's 100 degrees right now. So it dries really, really, really fast. So I went ahead and threw back paint on, even with that thunder rolling outside, just because I did check the radar. The radar doesn't have it coming over here. But if I'm sitting around waiting on that thunder, y'all, I'll be waiting for days. And I'm simply impatient. So I went ahead and, against my best judgment, threw that back paint and poly on there. Luckily, it did dry. So still no rain, yet there is still lots of thunder going on. All right, y'all, I'm just simply using that shading orange. I'm still using the same exact brush. So I kind of followed those perimeter lines. Let me come right here too against this bottom. And I also just kind of outlined around the carvings on the jack-o'-lantern's face. Now, I'm gonna just take what is already in my brush. I don't have a ton in my brush. As you can see, the more I use it, the more that paint kind of gets brought up. From here, I almost just kind of lay it sideways and just make some swish marks. It doesn't have to be anything perfect. There's no right, wrong, set way to do it. Almost make some like little eyebrows, if you will. Just kind of a few here and there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and clean that brush out, and I'm gonna just keep moving. So far we have our yellow shaded, we have our orange shaded, we need to do our green, our brown, and our wheels. Hi Marcy, how are you? Marcy says, what poly do you use that doesn't yellow? Marcy, we use a Pro Finisher. It is a water-based polyurethane for floors. And you just gotta make sure that it's crystal clear gloss. Now, I know I don't have that camera turned the correct way, but here is that container. Down here at the bottom, you can get this at Home Depot or Lowe's. It runs about $39, $40 per gallon. You just wanna look for this silver label at the bottom that says crystal clear gloss, because there is one that has a matte finish. And unless I guess you want like a dull finish, you know, you might wanna use that. But this is the one that we use, silver label, crystal clear gloss. Hopefully that answers questions. Hi Laura, hi Carla, how are you doing? Okay, keep on moving y'all. We're gonna move down to the wheels. I am, simply because on the engine, we did do some white shading on the wheels, is why I'm gonna continue to do the white shading. That engine had some different kind of styled wheels that really needed the white shading. I don't necessarily feel that this one does, but we want it to look uniform. So we're gonna add a little bit of white shading to it. No problem, Marcy. Hey, Carla. All right, y'all, so got that one. Gonna come over here, do the same exact thing. And y'all, I think I said that this was a number 10 brush, and I just picked up a little bit of orange on that tip of my brush from that wet pumpkin. I'm just simply gonna dab it out. But this is actually a number 12. It's just a shorter number 12. Alrighty. Got the white done. Now we just need to do our green and brown tones. So this green over here, this is actually lime green, but no matter if I'm using lime green or I'm using Christmas green, I still always shade with the same dark green. And now y'all, those of you that have been watching recently, y'all know that my dark green, I've been adding just a little bit of lime or Christmas green to it, just to kind of lighten it up a bit, where it's simply not as dark. So again, still using same exact brush. You guys are literally gonna see every single thing I shade on here, I'm using the same brush. I do that for a few reasons. Number one, I don't like washing a bunch of brushes because I guess you could just say I'm lazy. So that's just the easier thing. And then number two, I like to use the same brush so that the width of all of the shading strokes on this entire piece, they all kind of match, if that makes any sense. Meaning I don't have some things that are thicker and some things that are thinner. Now from here, I know this might look kind of weird right now, but I'm gonna just kind of fan it out like it's coming out into those leaf parts. We'll get this all cleaned up though. Might look weird, but bear with me. I promise it'll look really good here in a little bit. All right, wash that brush back out. And now we're gonna do our brown. This brown is our reindeer brown color, and I'm gonna pair that with a little bit of shading brown. Just getting that brush cleaned out a little bit. Again, separated paint, gotta get it mixed. Y'all, for such a little car, I was grabbing all of the colors of paint that I needed to do this tutorial. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I have 8 different colors that we're adding onto here that are separate from your base coat colors. And I was even kind of like, wow, I didn't realize I used that many colors on here. But apparently I did. Just picked up a little bit of orange again because that orange is still wet. Obviously all of these colors are still wet. So again, I'm really just following those lines that are already etched on there from the CNC. CNC makes this so much easier. And I'm just simply gonna just take a couple of strokes. Okay, our shading is done. So, hey Bridget, how are you, honey? Let's put that shading brush up. I'm gonna grab this blow dryer. We gotta get it at least dry enough that I can start getting my base, or my, gotta start outlining. So I need it to get dry enough that I can bring that brush in here and I'm not moving colors around. We can make it work. All right, now we're going to use 3 different shading colors. So on the pumpkin, I got a little boo-boo, but we'll touch that up with the highlight. On the pumpkin, I am going to outline with red orange. If you don't have a red orange, you can simply mix it. We used to hand mix this with that shading orange and a little bit of red. But then just for the sake of consistency, like if we have a boo-boo or you got a scratch across the piece and you need to do a couple of touch-ups, we quit hand mixing and started buying all the colors mixed. Again, just so that we can have that consistency, and really it's more for a touch-up kind of thing. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is when you need to do a touch-up and the color that you need to touch up was hand mixed. So you can't get that color correct, and then, you know, it kind of forces you sometimes to almost repaint that little part of the piece, which is never fun. I just picked up a little bit of green paint, so let's see, I might need to wash this brush out. I'm gonna see if I can make it do. But basically, all of the lines on side of my pumpkin, my jack-o'-lantern, if you will, I'm just simply outlining them with the red orange. I think the red orange can pair really well with both orange and yellow. So to me, I think the outcome with the red orange looks a lot better than black. Black can just be a little bit too dark. Bring that across, there we go. And just keep on moving. I just finished up painting. I painted 5 sets of these to sell to our customers. And while I really enjoyed painting them, I have to say, I'm only going to have 5 sets because they're a lot of work. I think the end result is beautiful, but it does take a little bit of time. I think the engine and the Boo car are both a little bit more time consuming. This one's pretty fast and easy. It doesn't have a whole lot of detail work. But hi Rusty, Suzanne, great to see you. She said, didn't catch the start of the live. Did you paint orange under the eyes and mouth and then paint yellow over the orange? What I actually did, that's a great question. What I actually did was I painted white first underneath everything. And the MDO that you guys are seeing me use right here is primed MDO. So it actually had a coat of primer underneath it. So I just put 1 coat of white, and the reason I always do that is if you want a yellow to show up, yellow is never gonna show up very well on any color that's underneath it other than white. And so anytime I'm doing a lighter pastel tone, even this orange, I like orange with a coat of white. Whoa, it is pouring rain outside, y'all. It just kind of scared me. But I like any pastel colors with a coat of white underneath, whether that's like a light pink, yellow, orange, any kind of like mint green, or really baby blue. I always have white underneath it. So thank you for that question. I love it when you guys ask questions. It gives me something to talk about where I'm not just filling the time with crazy antics about what goes on around here. All right, now, so we got that perimeter done and all the lines done. I'm not loading more paint into my script liner. I'm just using what's already here, and this is just very light, very wispy, just kind of coming in, and I almost go right over top of those lines that I already kind of have on here, and just kind of bringing in a little bit more color. You can even kind of come around, just kind of accent almost around all your shading lines. So that's all done with red orange. Debbie says, hope your stuff was dry. Yeah, you and me both, Debbie. But at this point, what am I gonna do? It's already done. I know for sure the poly was all dry because I flipped them over and painted the backs. And now half of the backs were dry before I even finished. It's more of if they had a lip of paint from me back painting, sometimes I'll accidentally get like a lip on the side, you know, because I get that roller almost, I pull it too far. And if that's the case, then yeah, I might have some boo-boos to touch up. But good thing is it's just paint. I can always touch it up. I'm just gonna simply hit right around where that wet red oranges. I'm just gonna try to get it dry where it intersects with the parts that I need to come back in with another color. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry, but it's beneficial. Because I typically paint in large quantities, so like when I'm painting the trains, for instance, yesterday, I'm doing 5 sets, so that's 15 pieces of yard art spread out around my room on all of my tables. So by the time I do one piece with one color and I go to the next piece and the next piece, and, you know, I get down through 15 of them and I come back and circle around to the first piece, it's already dry. So I don't really ever have to mess with the blow dryer, you know, when I'm kind of painting on my own, unless I'm just simply doing a sample or doing a live. But other than that, I never blow dry any of my stuff while I'm working on it. I just let it naturally dry. Y'all, that storm going on outside, it is like perfect Netflix and nap weather, which I don't have any good shows I've been watching, so if I have a good show that's been on that I'm really into, then that, you know, can make me go, okay, I think Netflix and nap sound really good. But then if I don't feel like I have something good to watch, I just don't do it. I don't know if y'all are that way too. All right, just simply touched up that outer line on the wheels. I need to just kind of obviously touch up the center one too. Again, the wheels are the only thing on these pieces that are going to be consistent. So from piece to piece, I do obviously try to keep those looking the same. It's a train, you know, you want it to look consistent. But other than that, you kind of are free-willed, free-range to, you know, do as you please. I'm going to tilt it sideways and just get this leaf a little bit closer to me. In my sample, I was looking, I looked over the room to my other ones. I actually didn't shade your little corkscrew vine coming out, but oh well. I obviously did on this live, so hey, we'll make do. Now I'm going to come out and come straight out and fan through these kind of like leaf parts, if you will. And what I'm going to do is come back in with some white and we'll get that touched up a little bit. It'll come together. Okay. Now that black is done. On my brown tones, I never outline in black. I always use shading red, so I'm going to switch to shading red. I'm not even going to wash out my brush. Shading red, y'all, is just a combination of red and black. So the black in my brush, oh well. I'll get it mixed in there and you won't even know the difference. So switch into that shading red. And again, I'm really just following the lines. These lines are etched on there for me, so it's nice and easy. My brush almost sits down in that groove, and I just kind of pull it around. And just simply follow. And bring this brush up. Alrighty, outline is done. Only thing left to do is some highlights. So get this brush washed out as good as we can. Lord knows we don't want any color left in that brush when we come to do white. That won't look very pretty. Now, if you're doing the white at home, I suggest you wait until the entire piece is dry. It makes it a lot easier. But for the sake of a live, we're gonna just have to work with it. So highlights, I kind of just come in anywhere that I feel like, you know, I could bring any white in. So almost kind of between where any of that shading swipes are is something I do. I like to go like in between, you know, kind of circle around. Now I'll also do maybe something like this. Just kind of like how you start to really bring it to life. Even maybe just kind of come around your little jack-o'-lantern. My brush is splitting on me. Something like that. Something like this. Maybe even come underneath here and, you know, just kind of jazz it up a little bit. Now, on this kind of corkscrew, to make it look like it's not, like it's gonna pop out a little bit more, I just simply take some of that white across it. Now, obviously, that black is wet, so I picked up a lot of black paint. Let me clean that brush back out. This is why I say to do the highlights when it's dry, because inevitably, I let that brush just flow, and so half the time, y'all, it flows into wet paint. If you try to be really stiff when you're highlighting, you're not gonna like the way it looks. Just kind of like let that brush flow. Wherever it goes, it goes. There's no right or wrong for this. You know, just let the brush take ya. Alrighty. There is your pumpkin train car all finished. Put that brush in the water. Lou says, love it. I could watch you all day. It's mesmerizing. Oh, well, you are just so sweet. Thank you, Lou. Okay, let's do a quick review of colors. Again, those of you that were here a little bit ago, I told you guys I have primed MDO, which already has a coat of primer over top. So I only did one coat of white. But if you're using our blanks, I would definitely do 2 coats of white. And the reason that you're gonna want the white, not that you have a lot of white, this is the only white left on here, but the orange and the yellow will pop and look so much better with a good coat of white underneath. So 2 coats of white with a roller. From there, you use your mop brushes and you can base coat light orange on the inside of the jack-o'-lantern mouth. That's light yellow. Your wheels are black. Your leaf is lime green, and your, not stump, what is it called? Your knob, because I was calling it stump the other day. Your knob is done in reindeer brown. From there, we shaded yellow with shading yellow, we shaded orange with shading orange, we shaded black with white, and we shaded lime green with dark green, and reindeer brown with shading brown. From there on outline, we outlined the entire jack-o'-lantern with red, orange, and then leaf and wheels were done in black. And your, gosh Lord, I keep forgetting the word. The stem, we outlined with shading red. Add some white highlights and bada bing, bada boom. You are done. Paula says, you do great. Thank you. You are so sweet, my dear. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with your blanks. I know we've sold several of them already. I did get some more back in stock in store yesterday. So if you're looking for those, I put a link in the video or in the description where you guys can go and grab that. If you're looking for a template, it is Ashley Del Rosario's with Bless Your Art. You can find her on Etsy. So other than that, that is all that I have for today. Y'all come back tomorrow and we will do the Boo train car. Let me show you. Those of you who might not know, this is the one we are doing tomorrow. Let me move this guy out of the way. I don't want to get that. Obviously it's backwards, but this guy we will be doing tomorrow. So hopefully you guys can join me tomorrow. Thank you all for hanging out today. I will see everyone tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye guys.